Hey guys, Chevy RC here. I'm going to give you an upgrade video of the Duratrax Evader EXT2 upgraded to brushless. Now, the upgrade I'm going to be doing is just differential gear. You can see it's a little, it's all metal. And yeah, when you come with the stock plastic one, let's see if I get the broken side. Okay. And you can see here is a little broken on the top, so you can see that. See a little bit of teeth right there been broken. So I'm tired of these plastic ones. So that's why I'm going to upgrade it with brushless differential gear. But you can see here I put some white lithium grease, even though it's very watery. I use this can, which I think it's going to be alright. Hey, it's better than nothing. Now I'm going to put this case on using these 4 screws. Okay, in order to put this on, you gotta slide this in here. But first, before you do that, you gotta spray a little bit in here. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Okay, so I just overfilled it, but that's okay. It's watery. It could somewhat clean it, empty itself out, I guess. And I made the table a little messy, but that's okay. So you take this other side case on, slide it in here. Now that's on. I'm gonna put these 4 screws on. And now I can put these 4 screws on, but just 2 on top and 2 on bottom. And the 3 longer screws go over 2 right there, 1 right there, and the shortest of the one goes right there. Alright, since you can see I got the screws in, which they don't thread on, they actually just push in. Now what I'm gonna do is get this plate on here into that, which is very simple. And you can see it's just on there, but you have to screw it in. All you gotta do is go to the other side and then 2 on top, 1 on bottom to screw those 3 in. Right now, since those 3 screws are screwed in, now you're gonna take this slipper plate and pad, and then you can see here there's a little slot right here. That's where you see those pins. That's where this slot goes in. Now I'm going to put it in, make sure it's lined up. Oh, funny. Now once you get in there, you gotta turn this and make sure that's spinning. If that's not spinning, that means you don't have this pushed in all the way. Okay, you take your spur gear, which you can see behind it, it has the plate in it with those bushings and screw in. What you're gonna do is, you see there's another slot right there, that circle, that makes a circle, and that's where you're gonna put this into that. And be sure that pad does not slide down. If it does slide down, it's not gonna perform well. Okay, now, okay, be sure that, well, it's not really in, but okay, you see that grease? Okay, I will clean that later. Now you see here, you see a nut, a washer, a spring, a washer, a bushing, and a washer, which is really first process. You take that washer, that bushing, that washer, that spring, that washer, and that nut all in there. But you gotta put this in first and put that nut in last. So let's go do that. Okay, once you get this nut on, you gotta tighten it so this thing does not get loose. So you take your wrench, you get the 3mm side, and that's a 3mm nuts. So let's tighten it. Okay, I got the nut on now. The way I do is when you get that nut in, once that nut touches that spring, then turn it at least 3 times. But maybe it looks a little too tight. If it looks like it's collapsed, turn it either a half turn or a full turn. So I'm gonna try to do that. Okay, so I did a little bit half turn, even though it came out. So the spring does look a little collapsed, but not much. But it'll be fine for now. So now what you're gonna do is, okay, so you're gonna take your gearbox cover, and you're gonna put it on the wait, no, not yet, not yet. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So now you take your brushless motor, you put it in there using those two screws. Hey guys, I actually got screws in, but you're not supposed to tighten it all the way because you want to get the proper spacing in it. And then they're saying like get a piece of paper in between the two teeth. But what I do is I move the spur gear if it feels like it's a little tight, and then if it does feel a little tight, then move it out. But if it does feel a little too loose, where the spur gear and the pinion gear feels very loose in it, that it almost separates, then you have to move it closer in. Now, after you do that, what you have to do is put the gearbox back on. Okay, let me go ahead and warn you something. When you go ahead to do this, if you keep having that problem where it keeps tightening after you tighten these screws, let me explain. When you turn these to the right, the motor goes to the right and makes it tighten it up. So all you have to do is keep the motor going to the left, and then once the motor after you move the motor to the left, then you can tighten these two screws. Now we can take the gear cover on using two screws, one on top and one on bottom. Okay, now you got the two screws on. Now it's time to put it in the car. Now all you have to do is just slide this in and then put two screws on bottom and two screws on top. And also to put the dog bones in, when you put it in, these slots, okay, these slots are okay, there it is. That slot right there. There's a dog bone, or if you have a CV shaft, then you could just put it in. But also, if you want to put it in, you have to put it in at the same time. Alright, once you slide that in with the dog bones on each side, now you can put the two screws on top, and now if you now okay, and then two screws on bottom. Okay, I got the gearbox in the car. Now there's one thing I want to mention. You gotta put these two screws on first before you do the top ones. It's because right down there you can see this lower part actually blocks the gearbox, which if that happens then that's okay. Now to put the motor guard on. Now all you do is put these three wires into the ESC, put the body on, and then you're done. One thing I want to mention to you, those three gears that you saw inside there, that top shaft, I'm going to have to replacing it pretty soon, but for now, it's aluminum and I'm going to be changing it to metal, but steel. But the problem is when you buy that, you have to buy the slipper clutch, slipper pad, the spur gear, and then a screw and nut, and then that's going to be a little more expensive than the differential because you have to buy all different parts. And that was Duratrax Evader EXT2 brushless level 1 upgrade.